Welcome to This Week in Hearing. I am Shari Eberts, co-author of Hear and Beyond, Live Skillfully with Hearing Loss, and I will be your host for this episode. Today we have a terrific guest, and one I'm very excited about, Keenan Tully. Keenan is a professional race car driver and the founder of Undefeated, a brand that aims to motivate and inspire kids, teens, and even adults who feel like their hearing loss is a barrier in their life. Keenan grew up with hearing loss and was bullied throughout his schooling in England. He battled stigma for many years, but eventually he decided he was not going to let his hearing loss hold him back. In 2021, he moved to the US to chase his dream of becoming a professional race car driver, and in 2022 launched Undefeated to spread awareness about hearing loss and to help motivate people of all ages to chase their dreams, just like he is doing. So thank you, Keenan, for being here to talk about your hearing loss, your journey, and to share what you've learned with your community. So every person with hearing loss has a story, and I was hoping we could start off with yours. If you can tell us a little bit about your background with hearing loss, when it started, and all of that.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is great. So my hearing loss started, I guess from birth. I was born with perforations in my eardrums, which never healed over. And so growing up, my parents actually never really realized that I had hearing loss until I was about 10 or 11 years old. And that's when I got my first set of hearing aids. So that helped me a lot. But then there was one time in high school back in the UK where a teacher told me to remove my hearing aids. And that actually made me stop wearing them for the next 7 years. And, you know, that had a massive impact on my confidence, on how I saw the use of hearing aids. And I was scared to wear them, you know, scared about what other people might think of me wearing them, or how I might look, or how my friends might think of me. And so yeah, it took me about 7 years until I just turned 21. That's when I then got my next set of hearing aids. And so throughout that period of time, I had to decide for myself whether or not I was going to let that teacher kind of decide my future and, decide whether or not I was going to let that stop me from chasing my dreams. And so one day I had to make the decision that no, I wasn't going to. And that's when I then made the decision to move over here to continue chasing my dreams of becoming a race car driver. And I then launched my brand last year, and here we are today. So yeah.
That's terrific. Good for you. So what was your teacher thinking? Like, why did the teacher want you to take your hearing aids off?
His reasoning was that they were distracting other students. Still to this day, I do wonder why he took that approach instead of realizing that hearing aids are something that I needed, and and he could have used it as a way to educate the other students about hearing loss or something like that. And I don't know, I still question it to this day. I don't know why he asked me to take them out, really. It's quite scary because, teachers need education about people's disabilities, and it's kind of worrying to think if that happens elsewhere, in other schools and other countries and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, very disappointing to have that coming from a teacher. So I'm glad you were able to sort of put that behind you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, I know I battled a lot of stigma when I first developed hearing loss. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about your experience with stigma and how you handled that.
Yeah, so it was very tough. Like even when I turned 21 and I got another set of hearing aids again, it was tough getting used to it because, for say the first 6 months, it was hard to get used to them, and I was worried constantly about how I looked and how people saw that. And that mainly stemmed from that teacher telling me to take them out. And so it was a tough battle, but then I realized that there's so many other people out there in the world today that wear hearing aids, or they wear something in their ears, whether it's earbuds or headphones or something. So, walking around the streets, nearly everyone is wearing something in their ears, which in today's society makes it a lot easier to feel like you're actually fitting in with other people when you're wearing hearing aids. I do think the stigma has like there's less stigma now, but it is still a problem. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So talk a little bit about how your hearing loss impacted your career aspirations.
My hearing loss actually turned into a big positive for me, especially with my racing, because the racing gave me a opportunity to not have to worry about speaking to people. Like, I could throw my helmet on and be in my own world for 30 minutes to an hour racing around a track and not have to worry about anything. And so, yeah, it actually made a big positive impact on my life, and that's what I'm now trying to spread awareness about, is that your hearing loss doesn't have to be a barrier, it doesn't have to be a negative, it can be a positive, and it can actually help you in a lot of areas in your life that you might not even think about.
Yeah, no, that's very true. So I imagine though that race car driving is very loud. Does the noise bother you, or like how do you protect your hearing when you're doing that?
Well, when we're driving, we're actually wearing earbuds because that's how we communicate and talk with the team, with the spotters, with the crew chiefs and stuff like that. So that actually helps to kind of drown out some of the race car noise. But then even still, I only hear my race car. I can't really hear the cars around me. So that means I have to be more visual when I'm driving as well. So I have to be looking around more and seeing where other cars are on the track. So the actual being inside a car racing with my earbuds in and my helmet on, that doesn't actually the noise from that doesn't actually bother me. But it's when I'm outside of the car and there's 20 cars going past me, like when I'm watching a race, that's when it's very loud.
I bet. I can imagine.
Yeah.
Are you able to do anything to protect your hearing? Like, so are the earbuds sort of protective, or like, do you wear headphones, or how do you think about that?
Do you mean like the earbuds when I'm racing myself?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's quite difficult because my hearing loss, I have to have them turned up, like basically to max volume to be able to hear what my crew chief is saying. And because they're not adjusted to my specific frequencies, like a set of hearing aids, every level is just, maxed out. And so all the really high pitches are really, really sharp. And then the low pitches, like they kind of hurt. And so it is quite difficult. So that's something that I'm looking into for sure, is to see if I can get hearing aid technology put into some racing earbuds so that they can be changed to my personal frequencies.
Yeah, that would be a big help, I bet.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, there was one time last year I was testing a car, and the crew chief I thought he shouted fire, like fire, like the car was on fire, but he just shouted stop. And so I stopped it as quick as I could. I span around and jumped out of the car thinking that the car was on fire, to find out that it actually wasn't.
We all have stories like that where we, mishear something. So
right. So that was pretty scary, but I managed to laugh about it afterwards.
Absolutely. So I was hoping you could talk a little bit about how wearing your hearing aids makes things easier for you. So you had sort of those 7 years where you didn't wear hearing aids and then came back to them. I mean, how did that change your life?
Oh, I just felt 100% more connected to friendship groups and family groups, like sitting, like simple things like sitting at the dinner table or something like that, or sitting there watching TV. In those 7 years when I wasn't wearing hearing aids, I didn't realize what I was missing out on, to be honest. But then I also did feel that at some points I did feel disconnected, and like I was kind of separated from friendship groups and stuff like that. So when I started wearing them again, my confidence levels just went through the roof, and I felt kind of normal again. It was a big boost in my confidence. And so part of me wishes that I didn't stop wearing my hearing aids for those 7 years, because I can only imagine how many more friends I would still have, and how many more new people I would have met, because in those 7 years I held myself back. I'd lock myself in my room. I didn't really go out and socialize. So it was a big difference when I started wearing them again.
Yeah, absolutely. I found the same thing with my hearing aids. It helps me feel more confident, and I can
Sure.
get to different situations, and I may not hear perfectly, but I know that I can rearrange the situation, or I can create some type of situation where I'll be able to communicate well, and that changes everything.
Yeah, for sure. And then even today, on days where I sometimes don't actually feel like wearing my hearing aids, because sometimes it's nice to let your ears breathe and stuff. But then on those days, I do find myself pulling myself back from groups of people that are talking and stuff, because it's kind of too much for me with all the different background noises, and I can't focus on one thing. So I actually find myself pulling myself back again, and then wonder why I didn't wear my hearing aids that day.
Exactly. So I really love your movement, Undefeated. I think it's all about empowerment and, beating back stigma. Talk a little bit about, how you created it and what you're trying to accomplish with that.
Well, I came up with the name because I was trying to think of something that was relatable to my own story, and my own story was that I wasn't letting hearing loss defeat me. And so that's when I then came up with the name Undefeated, and then changed the spelling to DEAF. So that's where that actually came from. And so it was all built around my own personal experiences with hearing loss. And so that's where it came from. And I wanted to build something that gave me a platform to be able to promote the same motivation and inspiration to other kids and teenagers who feel like they can't chase their dreams because they're deaf or they have hearing loss, and using my story as a hard of hearing race car driver to show them that yes, you can still do it. You can still do anything you want. It might not be as easy, but it's still possible.
I love that. And it seems like you're getting lots of traction with it, right? You've been even in the race car world, it seems like you're everywhere talking about it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's going really well. And honestly, hearing loss and racing kind of go hand in hand, because hearing loss racing is the loudest sport in the world. So it's kind of ironic that that I'm a activist for hearing loss. Yeah, I'm a race car driver too.
That's how it works sometimes, right?
For sure. But it's going really well. And I've had parents who have kids that are getting their first set of hearing aids reach out to me because they're worried. Their kids are worried about how they might their friends, with wearing hearing aids, and they're worried about what they might look like. And so, I'm having people come out to me asking for advice and stuff like that. And it's been great being able to impact people's lives and spread awareness.
That's terrific. So you have a website and there's a podcast as well. Are there other ways that people can interact with the brand?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we're on social media, so we're on Facebook and Instagram. We also just launched a TikTok where I'm going to be, making some fun and funny videos to, spread awareness about hearing loss. I think it's always a good thing to try and put a light, funny spin on it sometimes, So that's going to be the goal with TikTok. So yeah, we're pretty much all over the place. So we have the YouTube channel as well, which all the podcasts will be on as well. They're all filmed and they're all transcribed and subtitled, so people can still watch them easily.
That's terrific.
So, yeah.
And so when people ask you for advice, they contact you and say, what should I be doing? What type of advice do you have for young adults that have hearing loss?
I try to tell them that there's so many other people out there like you, and it's not this new thing like it used to be. Like even 10 years ago or even 20 years ago, hearing loss wasn't really talked about, and it was still this new thing, and people saw hearing aids and thought, oh, they look quite funny. But I feel like today there is a lot more socially accepted, and you see so many more people out there today wearing hearing aids. And so I try to tell them that there's so many other people out there just like you, and they're doing amazing things, and there's absolutely no reason that you can't as well. You just have to put your mind to it. It's I just try and tell them just to go for it, because there really is nothing to lose. What are you going to lose by chasing your dreams? I think the worst thing that could happen is you achieve your dreams, so it's kind of I just try and push that on them just to go for it, because I have, so many other people have, and that you only have one life, so just go for it.
I love that message. That is terrific.
Yep.
So your family must be so proud of you. Like, how has your family sort of supported you in your hearing loss journey?
They have for sure supported me. They love what I'm doing, but like growing up, it really wasn't anything that they actually realized. I'm not entirely sure how or why, if it was something that was kind of found out later on. And as soon as they noticed that I was kind of not hearing people properly, and kind of pulling myself away from friendship groups and family and stuff, straight away they took me in, got me a hearing test, and we got set up with my first set of hearing aids. So that, yeah, they have been a great support for sure.
That's wonderful. Because I always say that when you have hearing loss, your family has it too, because communication is so critical in any kind of relationship, families, friendships. And so when that communication is harder, relationships are harder. So it's wonderful to have that support.
For sure. And they also realized that racing really was my way of kind of dealing with it too. So they really helped me with my racing too.
That's true. Yeah, that's very good. Awesome. Well, any final thoughts that you would like to share with the audience?
I just want to say that if you have a dream in mind or a goal in mind, and you want to chase it, but you just feel like hearing loss is kind of that last barrier that's pulling you back, just to go for it, because there really is nothing to lose by chasing your dreams. There really is so many people out there in the hearing loss, in the hard of hearing and deaf community, that are doing incredible things, and there's no reason why you can't do the same. So don't worry about what this one random person is saying about your hearing loss, or like me with my teacher. Don't worry about them, because it's not their life, it's yours. So just go for it.
I love that. That is Fabulous. So I thank you very much, Keenan, for being here on the podcast and
Thank you
sharing
very
your
much.
experiences and your message. And I wish you lots of continued success in your journey.
Thank
And
you so much.
Undefeated as well. And if people want to learn about Undefeated, they can go to undefeated.org, and it's DEAF.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been great.